To begin this lesson, open the Shining Stone sample file from your Sample Files folder. And open the code behind file of by.aspx. Now you're going to begin by adding a string variable to the page load event handler. Click in the page load event handler and add the following code. String test string equals begin quotes hello world end quotes semicolon. A variable can be thought of as a container for data. You have just created a new string variable called testString, which contains the text hello world. In lesson 1.9, you saw that code with errors is underlined in red. In this lesson, you can see some code underlined in green. Green underlining indicates a warning rather than an error. If you hover your mouse cursor over the marked line, you can see the warning that Visual Studio is giving you. In this case, Visual Studio is just warning you that the testString variable isn't being used for anything. As soon as you add some code to make use of the variable, the green underline will disappear. Warnings don't stop you from running a project. They are there only for information purposes. A string variable always contains text. You'll learn more about strings in lesson 5.3. Next, you're going to set the text property of the TextBoxAddress1 control to match the value of your testString variable. Add a new line and type TextBoxAddress1.text. Now look to the side of the IntelliSense menu. The first word tells you that the text property of a text box control can be manipulated in the same way as a string variable. You could have guessed that by the fact that it can contain a piece of text. Complete the line of code now by typing equals testString. You may have noticed that testString appeared in the IntelliSense menu as you typed. Now view the page in your browser. The Address1 text box displays Hello World. This happened because your code copied the text stored in the testString variable into the text property of the TextBoxAddress1 control. Now close your browser and return to Visual Studio. The reason that variables are called variables is that their values can vary. TestString doesn't have to stay at the value you defined when you created it. In fact, it is very easy to change its value. Add a new line after the one where you created testString and add the following code. TestString equals please enter address. This code will change the value of the testString variable from hello world to please enter address. This technique works with any kind of variable. View the page in your browser again and because the value of the testString variable was changed, the new value is used in the text box. Close your web browser now and remove all of the code from the page load event handler. As well as setting a control's properties from a variable, you can set the value of a variable from a control's properties. Add the following line of code to the end of the Button Submit Order Click Event Handler. String address1 equals textboxaddress1.text. This code creates a new string variable called address1. It also copies the text property of the textboxaddress1 control into the new address1 variable. Now add the following code on the next line. Response.write address1. This code will display the contents of the address1 string variable on the page. Now view the page in your browser and complete the form by filling in the highlighted text boxes. You may remember that in Lesson 4.9, you set a rule that the phone number had to be a number between 0 and 999999. So make sure that your phone number is within that range. Now click Submit Order, and the text that you entered appears at the top of the page, just after the validation message that you added in an earlier lesson. Close your web browser now and close Visual Studio. You've now completed Lesson 5.2. Create a variable.